Hello folks, I'm Kemp from Kepios here, bringing you 10 essential takeaways from our huge new Digital 2023 Global Overview Report. As always, you can read our full report and analysis completely for free over on DataReportal.com, but this video will guide you through the top headlines in our flagship Digital 2023 report. Starting in reverse order at number 10, the latest data reveals that computers still account for more than half of the time that people in Northern America and Europe spend using the internet. Mobile phones account for the greatest share of online time at a worldwide level, but laptops and desktops are still the preferred access devices across the world's largest economies. GWI's data does indicate that ownership of computers has been declining over recent years, but roughly 2/3 of the world's internet users still say that they use a laptop or desktop to access the internet. And the key takeaway here is that mobile first doesn't translate into mobile only. Next up, more great data from GWI shows that ownership in cryptocurrencies is in decline. The company's latest survey reveals that the share of internet users who own at least one form of crypto fell by 3% between July and October, suggesting that the ongoing crypto winter has taken its toll on investors. Somewhat reassuringly though, research from Statista reveals that most people haven't gone all in on digital coins, and the average investor allocated just $135 to crypto purchases in 2022. That average was down by roughly $1 versus 2021 spend figures, but the crypto bulls will be pleased to hear that Statista forecasts a meaningful increase in average investment during 2023. And we've got more great insights from Statista at number 8 too. The company's advertising and media outlook indicates that social media platforms now account for 1 in every $3 spent on digital advertising, up from a quarter of the total in 2019. And in absolute terms, global spend on social media ads has more than doubled since the outbreak of COVID-19 to reach an estimated $226 billion in 2022. Overall, Statista estimates that brands spent a combined total of $667 billion on digital advertising in 2022, which was 15% higher than the year before. Story number 7 is that Meta has made yet more revisions to its ad reach data. This is a trend that we reported on various occasions throughout 2022, but the company appears to have made further corrections to its numbers during the last weeks of the year. At a worldwide level, numbers published in the company's own ad planning tools show a 6% annual decline in potential Facebook reach and a hefty 11% drop in Instagram reach. However, it is important to stress that these numbers do not point to a decline in overall platform use. And in fact, our analysis of various official and third-party data confirms that the total active user bases of both these platforms continue to grow. Next up, we've improved the way that we calculate social media audience overlaps in our Digital 2023 reports, and this new approach reveals some even more surprising findings. Overall, GWI's latest data reveals that no single social platform can claim more than 1% unique reach across audiences outside of China. However, for many platforms, including TikTok, Twitter, and Snapchat, the data indicates that just 1 in every 1,000 users will be unique to the platform. So the key takeaway here is that you don't need to be on all platforms at the same time. And furthermore, if you are using multiple social platforms, you may want to vary your activities on each one in order to avoid message repetition and audience fatigue. Just before we head into the top 5, I'd like to say a big thank you to We Are Social for sponsoring this video. We Are Social is a socially led creative agency with 1,200 people in 17 offices across 4 continents. They're a strategic and creative partner to brands like Adidas, Samsung, Netflix, and Google, and they deliver a truly global perspective at a time when social media is increasingly shaping culture. To learn more about how they can help you too, head over to wearesocial.com. Story number 5 is that social platforms are claiming an ever greater share of the world's search activity. Data from GWI reveals that 16 to 34-year-olds are now more likely to visit a social network when looking for information about brands than they are to use a search engine. And moreover, roughly half of the world's social media users say that they actively visit social platforms to learn more about brands and to see their content. The rise of TikTok search has already caught the attention of Google execs and the media, but the latest data suggests that Instagram may in fact be young people's preferred destination when researching things to buy. Next up, it seems that tales of social media's demise have not been exaggerated, but in fact entirely fabricated. Kepios analysis reveals that social media user numbers continue to grow, with the global total reaching 4.76 billion at the start of 2023. Meanwhile, the latest research from GWI reveals that we're spending more time using social media than ever before too. The typical working-age social media user now spends more than 2.5 hours per day using social platforms, which is 40 minutes more than they spend watching broadcast and cable TV. So don't fall for the clickbait, because social media is still very much alive. In at number 3, analysis from data.ai reveals that the typical Android user now spends more than 5 hours per day using their smartphone. Average daily mobile time has increased by 7 minutes per day over the past year, and the current total means that we now spend roughly 30% of our waking hours using our smartphones. Now, this figure only represents activity across a selection of global markets, but if the average were to hold true across all mobile users, the world would spend a combined total of 10 trillion hours using mobile phones in 2023 alone. And we've got more big numbers in at number 2. Broad updates to reported internet user numbers mean that the global total has now increased to 5.16 billion, which equates to 64.4% of the global population. However, it's important to note that a large part of this increase relates to corrections in source data, and the latest numbers indicate that global internet users have only grown by roughly 2% over the past year. Now, that's quite a bit slower than the growth rates that we've seen in some recent years, but it's worth highlighting that regular delays in the reporting of research into internet adoption probably means that these latest figures actually underrepresent the true growth rate. But our top story at the start of 2023 is that the amount of time that we spend online has actually declined. Continuing a story that we first reported in our October 2022 update, GWI's latest data reveals that the typical internet user has reduced their average daily internet use by 20 minutes per day over the past 12 months, equating to a year-on-year decline of almost 5%. Now, there may be a variety of reasons behind this decline, but GWI's analysis indicates that it reflects a broad shift towards more purposeful and considered use of the internet. And critically, this shift doesn't mean that the internet is becoming any less important in people's lives. Rather, it suggests that users want to get more out of their connected time, and that they're emphasizing quality over quantity. And as a result, marketers and content creators will need to work even harder to attract and retain people's attention in 2023 and ensure that they're always adding value. Now, that's all we have time for in this top 10 takeaways video, but don't forget that you can dig much, much deeper into all of these stories and loads more of our latest insights over on DataReportal.com. If you've got any questions about the content that I've covered today and what these numbers might mean for you, pop those in the comments or contact me on LinkedIn or Twitter, where you'll find me as Eskimon. Many thanks, as always, to We Are Social and to Meltwater for making these global digital reports possible, and to our wonderful data partners for allowing us to share their valuable insights. And thanks to you for joining me today too. Remember to tap on that subscribe button, and I'll see you again for our next round of insights.